In this video, I'm going to show you how you can import audio and MIDI files in Garageband for iPad. You can import audio and MIDI files into Garageband for iPad to enhance your projects with existing recordings or compositions. So for example, if you've got students who have made work either outside of school or they have managed to find something that they want to be able to include in their creation, then this guide will help you understand how to import these and use them in your projects. What we're going to do is we're going to come out of Garageband, we're going to go into the Files app. If you're not sure where the Files app is, it'll either be on your dock as the Folders icon, or if you could swipe down and then search for Files, you'll then be able to find it this way. Opening Files will allow you to see what is the files that are on your iPad. You'll also be able to see if there are anything on your cloud drive, which is quite useful for sharing across the web. You can also see if you've got any shared folders, and of course recent projects. So you can basically navigate to the location where your audio file is stored. Audio options will appear as little audio waves on the filing system. So say for example, I'm going to use one here, it's just orchestra tuning. You can also preview that and then done. So what you do with this is you can drag and drop into GarageBand, but some people get a bit stuck with this. So here's a really nifty tip to be able to do this. At the top of the Files app, you'll see these three dots, and by tapping on the three dots, you'll see views that will say split view or slide over. Now, for ease, for most people, slide over is going to be your friend. What you then do is you tap back into GarageBand, and you'll see then that these files are available. You'll then be able to find the audio file that you would like, and then you simply tap and drag into your project. And to get rid of this view on the right hand side, you just tap on the three dots again and then close when it gets rid of the files view. Locate where you would like the audio file to start. So that's how you locate and drag and drop your audio file. Depends where you are actually storing it. You can even import from an external device with the appropriate adapter. So importing MIDI files then, similar idea. What you'll then do is you'll go back into your Files app. To import your MIDI file, it's as simple as doing the exact same process for importing the audio file. So there's a MIDI file that a student has found online, then it can save it to their device and then drag it into GarageBand as well. At the time of recording, what you can also do is if you do have a Mac-based suite in your school, you'll then be able to then use the iPad as a second screen, so you can actually drag from your main computer into the iPad as a secondary device, and you can drag and drop that way as well. Now, if that sounds a bit too technical, don't worry, I can also add this to this course if there is enough demand for it. So you've imported your MIDI and you want to then edit that MIDI. It's quite useful. It'll then appear as a track where you want to edit it. Double tap and then edit. It then brings you into this view here. If you want to change the view just with two fingers, drag them closer together to minimize it, to zoom out, and then to pinch and zoom, you can then do up and down or side to side. Once you're happy with your view, you can then crack on and edit. A full guide on a different video. You can also import music from the Apple Music app. So if you have this on your iPad, what you'll then do is tap on music. If it's not on your homepage, you can just simply search for music. If Apple Music is not on your device, then with permission and if you're able to do so, ensure that Apple Music is downloaded onto your device. If you're not sure how to download apps, then you can ask for support within your school. If you have Apple Music on your device, the process for importing is exactly the same as it would be for MIDI and audio. If you've got the music in your library, you can then tap and import it and drag it into Tracks View just as normal. And the way you access that is this. Go into the Files app. You then go into On My iPad. You would then find, if you had present on your iPad, a music folder. You would then tap that, much like you would any other folder. You would import into GarageBand by tapping and dragging as you would any other way. Another way to access your files can be simply through the Loop browser. Tap on Loops. Rather than Apple Loops, click on Files. And then from Files, browse items from the Files app. You can select the files that you want and also import from the cloud as well. It's probably discouraged to use the music app because of copyright issues. So again, but that can be a discussion with your class. But as more modern versions of GarageBand are released, and certainly in Logic at the time of recording, it is now possible to import an audio file and to do something called stem split, where you can create the audio file and split it into its component parts. So rather than having individual tracks for each one, if it's a combined audio file, say for example, your favorite artist or performer, you can now with one button tap split stems and it will then split it into its component vocals, drums and keyboards and other parts as well. So it is going to be quite powerful, and I dare say over time that feature will arrive in Garageband as the iPads become more powerful. Thanks very much for watching this video, and we'll see you in the next one.